It's funny how those who knew Kerry Francis, he always used to cry. So you can imagine now, as he lays here in front of us, shedding tears in front of us. My brother, my best friend, my fan. Have you ever had a brother who was your friend? Doesn't matter the age gap, the age difference. He saw me as a man. So even when I was 11 or 12 or 13, the conversations we had with this guy, see me, come talk to me, be a man. My guy, I am going to miss your voice. This is the hardest day of my life. I woke up heavy. My heart was heavy. I don't know what I'll do without you. God has a plan. It is what it is. But Mr. Francis, CF, there are two things you've told me, and it was our daily bread. Live, love, and laugh. And the laugh at yourself. Everyone else will laugh at you. It's fine. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if you can look in the mirror and you can't laugh, then you're not living. There's a problem. Right? That was number one. Number two, this life that has been given to us is not a rehearsal. It doesn't come twice. So be good, be nice. And usually in his case, this guy was too kind. He had a heart of gold. It's the type of guy who would go out for dinner, drinks or something. He'll pay the bill, but he can't get home. And he'll just tell you, Chief, I'll manage. And he'll get home. Kerry Francis, I will mourn you until I join you. I love you truly, madly, deeply. And I go with what you told me on the Sunday afternoon when we were discussing in the hospital. Our agreement was when you come out on Tuesday, you'll go home, do this, you'll do that, you'll be relaxing, home care, watch the soccer on the Wednesday, do all these things. Our agreement that me and you were supposed to go buy a dog, a bulldog. I don't know what to say, but as I stand here and look at you, it shall be well. Shop, shop.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll now call Dudu and Shaka.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was having a conversation with my two sons, and you will see it in the tributes. And one of the things they said about one of the things, I'll tell you the second later, is that their Uncle Kerry, so we called him Uncle Kerry, he had a way of making people smile, or certainly them. And I know if you walked in here, I say walked in because if I say if he rose, we'll all be freaked out. He would say something that will make us laugh. Now, Edward was my follower, so that means he came after me. Okay, so Richard, myself, Edward, Edgar, and that was steps. So that was 2 years apart, and then Otto came 7 years after Edgar. So at some point, as we were growing up, we were 4. And this was the days when we didn't have PlayStations, videos. TV, I think, was from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock So with 4 and a garden, you can play a couple of games, right? 2v2, football, it wasn't rugby, but football and other things. And very quickly, we realized that Edward was different. Yes, he would play sport, but he'd also read a lot, which is very different from us. And I think that's where his charm, his wit, and his voice started or flourished from. When I was certainly around 12, 13, Edward kicked off my very short stint on TV. I haven't found myself, but I know I was paid for a role in the movie White Mischief. I've watched it many times, but I can't see myself. I was a home guard and askari in shorts and long socks. And there were very many. Was it out of Africa? There you go. But I was paid well. So I had a good stint in acting. I even did a Coca-Cola ad. So that's for the West African market. Another ad which I haven't seen. But I left that. Edward, through acting, through reading, very early went into act. He joined Phoenix Players. And I think it's there where he now started to come out of the home fold, the fold of the house, and now started to become a public figure, while the rest of us were chasing sport. So that voice and him being different, I think, started. It was then that he decided to take up a role in radio. I didn't get it then. I certainly didn't. But that's what he loved to do, okay? I think for us, we were more, and maybe it's because of, how society was then. It was all about conforming and doing, I was aiming for a doctor, lawyer, architect, engineer. Edward he actually saw something different and he followed his path. And he started in radio. It's only now that I now start to understand the impact of what he did. When he passed last Monday, and we started to see how much love he had. I remember, so Owen is 12. So Owen asked me, "You mean Uncle Kerry was this famous?" Yeah, well, you and I have just learned this. So I want to thank, and this is a personal thank you to Caroline Mutoko, because as you all know, Kerry liked a Tipolotu. I'm sure many of you might have shared that with him. But I just want to thank Caroline Mutoko because she did a lot to make sure that he continued to do what he loved. And I think I can say this for him and just say a very big thank you to her. Following his passing, because he was ahead of us all and he did what he loved, he found his brilliance and he made it work. I will just read a small section because this is a commitment that I will make to him, for the radio community. So I'll just read the last part of my tribute. And this is my commitment to him. Kerry, you grew beyond anything even I imagined you would become. You raised the profile of radio in Kenya to incredible heights. Heights I hope others will aspire to, and that I hope will be properly rewarded, especially now as we enter a new era where the creative industry must not just survive, but thrive. even in the age of AI. Your legacy as the most famous voice in Kenya radio must not die with your passing. Go well, my brother. You are reunited with many who've gone before you. Watch over us until we meet again.
To the clergy, the congregation, friends and family, both close and extended, good afternoon. My name is Richard Kwach, Jr. And as you'll see in the tribute program, and we'd have heard around the streets or any other place, I'm nicknamed as Dudu. So when you begin imagining who Dudu is, it is me. I'm the firstborn of this family. I want to speak a bit more about Kerry in terms of his personality and his nature. Kerry had in this world the fortune and luck of having two sets of parents in one family. There was his mother and his father, and then there was also me, the surrogate parent. I did both the roles of my mom and my dad because they used to travel a lot. They were very busy, they led busy lives. So me being the eldest, I had the duty of looking after these three guys and Kerry. So Kerry was special because he was very energetic. And there are very many characteristics about him. I'm going to talk about Kerry because that was his home name. To you guys on the outside, he may have been known as Edward, but he was known as Kerry, whom my father named after Kerry Francis, who founded the Lance High School. Kerry was charismatic. He would walk into a room and he would light up that room. And he would leave the room and those occupants entertained and happier than when he found them when he entered. Kerry was articulate. He could express himself succinctly and clearly and make his views known, and he was well understood. And I realized this when a friend called me yesterday and told me that she has been listening to Spice FM, the road show that Kerry used to host every day. And people were calling in this past 2 weeks, and most of them were breaking down. They were crying. They were saying, we shall miss Edward's music. We shall miss Edward's word of advice. We shall miss Edward's jovial character. As you have heard, Kerry was also a reader, an avid reader. And so you should not be surprised that he was able to express himself even on radio very clearly. While the rest of us were playing in our teenage years, Kerry was reading a lot of books that my father had acquired in his library. And that's where he earned that distinct character of being able to be well-read and present himself. He was also extremely entertaining because, and I am sure many, and I keep hearing, he was emceeing, he was a master of ceremony for many of your functions, and ours as well. And that is a very special art. It is unique, it is innate. Lastly, Kerry displayed the exuberance of youth. And I stand corrected. Many of us would have to live 2 life cycles in order to keep up with Kerry's capacity to embrace life, to seize the day. He displayed the exuberance of youth. And I was actually a victim of that because many a times when we were both young and as we grew older, we would go out to the party, to the discos. He loved his music, we loved our music. We grew up in a family where music was played every weekend. So we knew all these bands, Kool and the Gang, the Whispers, the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie. And Kerry had the capacity to, if one of us was sung, he listened to it the first time and he memorized it word for word. But when we went to the club, as they call it these days, many a time, I would run away from him because he would be able to party until dawn with so much vibrancy. But some of us did not have that capacity to last the whole night. But that was his nature. Let me talk about something about his popularity. When there was COVID, you all know that there was curfew. So there were limited time. Only certain designated people could operate beyond the curfew hours. And I was one of them because I'm a public servant and I'm a lawyer by profession. So it was only lawyers and medical practitioners who could go beyond curfew. So one day I finished work at my office at 10:30. I was trying to beat the 11 o'clock curfew. And I was 2 minutes away from home. I was on the James Gishuru Junction. And there were designated places where there were police checks. So, and policemen were, at that time, they were very happy. When they realized that people were operating beyond curfew, you could see the excitement in them because it was good fortune their part. So I saw this excited policeman, they lagged me down very excitedly. They said, "Simama, simama, simama. Weka gari kando." Unatoka wapi? So I told them, nimetoka kazini. Let a badge. So they started giving me a hard time. So they said, "No, but you have extended beyond. It's too much. Let a driver's license." So I gave them the driver's license. So upon seeing the driver's license, many a time they would ask me, "Are you the son of Justice Kwach?" I said, "Yes." Then they'd reprimand me a bit, then they release me. But this time, when I showed them my driver's license, they told me, "Wewe ni ndugu ya Edward Kwach?" Sema, "Yes." Pita raka sana, pita raka sana. And he gave me a thumbs up. So I said, amefanya makosa. I said, huyo kijana kwa radio anatufurahishi. He makes us happy on the radio, but also the many other times he's known in the social places. So Kerry made a name for himself, but mostly for the good. He loved his job with a passion. And if there's anything that I'm going to learn from Kerry, his popularity transcends time, because he's now gone. But the tremendous amount of outpouring of love, joy, pain, and suffering, if he was only alive to see, you would be very amazed. But the lesson that we must learn is that in life, we're born to die. There's only one outcome. There's no other outcome. There's no shortcut anybody here is going. We're all exiting, and as you'd say in the plays that you used to act in, we're all exiting left in one direction. And so, he showed that life is beautiful, but it can also be short. So we have limited time on this planet. And in the limited time that we have, be yourself, embrace yourself, but also build relationships so that when you exit, you leave footprints in the sands of time. Because time is a very precious currency. We may all know how much money we have in our bank accounts, but we do not know how much time we have in our lives. Kerry lived life with a big spade, and he was unapologetic. In summary, I'll just read a poem that speaks about him, and I think it is worth a mention. A voice once strong upon the air, with laughter, truth, and gentle care. Now silent, yet it echoes still. Through hearts you have touched and always will. At Spice FM, your soul would shine with wit and warmth in every line. A friend, a guide, a joyful sound, now missed in every moment found. You told the stories, held the space, with grace, with courage, endless grace. A presenter with heart so wide, you walked with kindness as your guide. Though gone too soon, your light remains in every smile through joy and pain. Rest well, dear Kerry. Your work is done, but your legacy has just begun. So to mom and dad, Ole, a parent should never in this life experience the pain and suffering of burying their child. I also feel the same pain because I was also a surrogate parent of his, as well as an older brother. My pain is twice. Because I loved him so much, I protected him so much, but it is the Lord's will. To Kerry, we shall see you on the other side. Say hi to Mburu Kereni, Victoria Otieno, Dandavi, and all those who have gone before us. For that is all we shall be, mere mortals, until we meet again. I thank you. It's Marilyn Mitei. Yeah. I would like, Marilyn Mitei was the nurse who was looking after Kerry in the last week. Marilyn, if you could just come up quickly and say something. Marilyn?
Good afternoon, church. My name is Marilyn Chepkemoy. I am the nurse who was with Edward the last moment. As we gather here today, not just to mourn the loss of Edward, but to celebrate a life well lived and enduring mark he left on all who knew him, and especially those of us who had the privilege of caring for him in his journey of illness. Edward was more than just a patient. He was a person of extraordinary strength and resilience, facing challenges with a spirit that inspired me and others on this team. We are forever grateful for the time we had to be part of his life, and we will remember his kindness and compassion. While we mourn the absence of Edward, let us also celebrate the beautiful memories we shared with him. May those memories bring peace to Kwach family during this difficult time. Edward will be deeply missed, but his legacy of strength and kindness will live in our hearts. Rest in eternal peace, Mr. Kwach. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Kwach brothers, you're now one man down, but we pray that that makes you stronger. I know the pain of losing a brother, so we're with you. But Chaka haukufanya vizuri. You said the author was others. He came. That is why also in the movies, you are just an extra. Yeah, don't expect to see yourself. That's what it is called, extra. Yes. We now want to go to the parents. As Dudu has said, it is not in the order of nature, and it is not in God's plan that parents bury their children. But it is what it is, and so we want to invite Mama, my auntie Emma, they call her the Queen, I call her the matriarch to come and give her tribute. Auntie, please.
Thank you. Yes. Where do I even begin? It still feels like a bad dream. When I keep hoping I'll wake up from, this is without a doubt the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life. As I mourn you, Kerry, I also celebrate you. You know, Zola is my granddaughter, and I always celebrated our birthday together on the 27th of March. This year was no different. We talked for a long time. We laughed, as we always do, but little did I know that within 1 month, you are not going to be here with us. Son, you never called me mommy. You called me the queen or Jaber. We had that special bond, you and I. We had the bond because Kerry was born on my birthday, 1973. That was a special birthday from God. I remember the day I was to deliver by you at the Nairobi hospital. I actually drove myself there. The nurses couldn't believe I was in labor. I was still holding my keys and my handbag. When they asked me, are you really in labor? And I said, yes, I am. They rushed me in. The funny thing is, this was on my birthday. Your dad was abroad on a trip at the time. Kerry, you aren't just my son. You are my best friend. You never answered me back. No matter what I say to you, you would sometimes make fun of me and tell me, Mommy, don't shout at me because you'll make me spoil my voice, and you know my voice is money. You'd always end up with a smile and call me Jaber. Who would have known that you would leave us so sudden, so fast? Now that you are no longer here, every day goes on, but nothing is the same. There's an emptiness inside me that I can't put into words. I try to cope, but I cannot hide my tears. Kerry, words truly fail me. I'm overwhelmed with sorrow, knowing that I will never hear your voice on the radio again. But even through the pain, I find solace because You are so loved by so many people. An example of love of purpose, of kindness. From the moment you came into this world, you brought joy, you brought light, you are gentle, you are kind-hearted. A lot of people, Kerry would always be laughing. You shout at him, he'll never answer until the boys thought that I favored him. But I didn't favor him, he was just special to me. I called him a duet. As I've only called you, your legacy will live on in our hearts forever. Rest in eternal peace, my dearest son, until we meet again. You are and always will be a blessing to everyone who loved you. I'm so proud to be your mother. The world has lost a vibrant spirit, but the universe has gained a star. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie, and thank you for being strong. I now want to invite Kerry's dad, Justice Richard Otieno Kwach, to also give his tribute. Yeah, and I'll invite the boys to come and stand with him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justice Richard Otieno Kwach. So happy to see such a massive mass of people. I think any politician or aspiring politician would love to have such a crowd. As a family, we are very, very grateful to all of you. Say that anyone can recognize an elephant in the middle of the day, but if you ask them to describe, not to be able to do so. I've listened and to the tributes for Kerry, and I'm impressed. So coming right at the end of the news, what I've listened to was completely exhausted any of one could say about Kerry. So I'm not about to break any new ground because there is none. It is all there, and I'm amazed that Kerry had such a massive following. As a family, we loved him. He had a following. If he was anything other than a God-fearing person, you would compare him with a cult leader. The way Kerry led his life, he had a dream, chased the dream, followed it. And I think, in a sense, he succeeded in achieving his mission. Been looking at the pictures, and I get the impression that he's just taking a bit of a rest. The last time, the Sunday before Kerry passed on, I went to see him, and we had a wonderful chat. But as I was leaving, I had the clear impression that his days are numbered. Although he's young, he has died young, he has achieved a lot. He was part of the engine of the family, and very creative. I didn't know that I had a nickname for myself, but listening, talking to Otto, told me that, we had to create a nickname for you in case you wanted to say something, discuss something which we didn't want you to take. So I was told that I was a Don. Then they said Don Vito. And those of you who have read The Godfather, became very clear. So only Edgar would, when he was wanted to have fun, just say, "Oh, Don Vito, how are you?" I was cool with it. So children are very, very, they have got a way of communicating. They can be backbiting you and you wouldn't know you are the subject. My role here today is to thank you rallying around us. Death is very terrifying. You know, when you hear that a neighbor is bereaved, you don't realize the impact. But the day it enters your gate, it's like meeting a very dangerous animal. Because it's a journey you undertake. There is no notice that is coming. The angel of suffering knocks at your door. Then as you respond, you say, there is no seat left for you here. But he's not going to go away. He'll tell you not to worry, because he has come with his own stool. So you have no chance. But as a family, we are very proud that we produced Edward Carey. And that is an achievement. I'm sure that as he goes, continue to make those who are lucky enough to be up there good company. So, I want you all, except how Nini we are. We are all Nini at the individual level. I have to acknowledge and thank and I want to acknowledge, give full acknowledgement, Carey's companion, a young lady called Vicky, fellow traveler. Not always that you find people like that who will go an extra mile to put a smile on your face. But Vicky gave Carey the support he needed, and as a family, remain forever grateful for that contribution. So, all of you, the dawn is happy. And you know, if you have read The Godfather, a gathering like this, a funeral, the turnout was huge. And that made everybody happy. We know Carey will come back, because that is what the good book says. And we'll continue to keep an empty chair around our dining table. We'll return. We are not going to reduce the number of chairs around the table. Those few words, if they are few indeed, I want to thank you again for making us journey. All know that it is not possible to change the course of
Applause for the Don, please. Erokamano, Uncle. Thank you very much to the family. We now want to invite, I'll make a few enemies here this afternoon, but we will want to keep it very short. So I want to request the following to please come up so that we can speedy the process. On behalf of friends, Teddy Muthusi, please make your way to the altar. On behalf of the media industry, my friend Big Ted, no, I must be respectful, Ambassador Balozi, His Excellency Ted Kwach, Karibu, and a colleague from Standard Group, whose name I do not have, but please do come. We'll start with you, Teddy.
Good afternoon, everyone. God is good, and all the time. Today, I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of friends for a man who gave each of us the greatest privilege, the gift of his friendship. But what is friendship really? It's something Edward not only understood, he embodied it. You can see it in the overwhelming outpouring of love since his passing. But more than that, you can see it in who those tributes come from. From the man who sold him DVDs back in the day, to colleagues in the media, to complete strangers who all had the same story. Edward made time for me. He could have chosen the path of ego, of celebrity, but that was never Edward. He was grounded, generous, and unfailingly present. I had the rare privilege of knowing Edward in many chapters of his life, from the corridors of St. Mary's, where he was a year ahead of me, to the stages of Phoenix Players, to the hallways of media houses, creative studios, and client boardrooms. We worked on countless projects together, and I watched him give his time, his voice, and his talent, and his platform to others. As friends, some who are still here and some who've passed on, we had a circle. It even had a name that he created. It was called the Flip Mod Squad. And although we wanted to spend almost every 3 minutes together, we knew that he had other circles of friends, ones that introduced to us, and it made even more bonds. Edward also opened doors for people, not because it was expected, but because he believed in them even when they didn't believe in themselves. He saw light in others and lit it up. But we also know the other side of Edward, the one who lived loudly, laughed deeply, and danced long into the night. But that wasn't just partying, as some would think. That was Edward doing what he did best, connecting people, turning strangers into friends, and then friends into family. Now, was Edward a perfect friend? Well, if you rubbed him the wrong way, you definitely get the best of his temper. But here's the beautiful thing. Once the dust settled, those friendships often grew stronger, because that's what vulnerability looks like. Showing up fully, giving all of yourself, even the messy bits. And Edward gave all of himself every time. And then there was Edward, the accidental clown. A few days ago, we were reminded by Big Ted that Edward, upon spotting one of his boys walking with a lady, would instantly fabricate a cheeky, harmless lie. And he's like, hey, this guy talks about you all the time, only to realize mid-sentence that the lady in your friend's company was either a cousin or a sister. Or if he spotted you from afar with now your significant other, he'll break into a dramatic lakeside rendition of the LL Cool J song, Who Do You Love? Are You For Sure? And even in hospital, Edward's sense of humor never left him. I'm told by an extremely reliable source, who Don Vito just talked about, that when he didn't have the energy to entertain visitors, especially those he wasn't quite in the mood to see, he would dramatically pretend to snore. And then the moment they walked out, he'd open one eye and say, they're gone. Now, that is classic Edward. So what are we already missing? We miss the laughter that echoed from his soul. We miss the command of the English language that left us in awe. We miss the unmistakable voice from radio to stage to the unforgettable ads. But we also celebrate. We celebrate the catchphrases. I asked guys today on a certain group to say the phrases, and they poured in so much that this guy was about to start his own language, Edwanese. It's like quick plus fast minus slow. Are we together? Say it and so. Sharp, sharp, bro. My guy, are we together? Make like Tom and Cruise for Kojembe. You're behaving like a handbag. Be swift. Tuongee kiwase. Foot sick. What are you talking? Jam kwa Mwarabu. Jam kama Mwarabu. Jaka baba. You didn't hear what I'm saying? BC, which meant before COVID. Kaka brother. And so on and so forth. And Ola. There were so many things that he used to create his own phrases. We celebrate the endless stories, the jokes, the wisdom. We celebrate the countless times he pulled us aside, looked us in the eye, and helped us realign our paths. But what did we learn also from Edward? To show up for people and for life, to get up again and again, no matter how hard life hits, to be unapologetically ourselves, because as Richard, his brother, said, there's only one of you, the rest are taken, and to love boldly, unconditionally, and without holding back. Sometimes we forget that none of us is here forever, but even in his pain, even in this pain, even in this goodbye, I know that everyone who called Edward friend can smile and say, God, I was lucky to know this guy. To his mom, dad, and brothers, and entire family, thank you. Thank you for raising such an extraordinary man and sharing him with us. And thank you to God. There's a gospel song by Yonita Bynum that says, you're great, you do miracles so great, there's no one else like you. And that's the truth, because God did give us a great person. He gave us Edward, a great friend like no other. So goodbye, Edward, my friend, our friend. And thank you for living life so fully and for letting us be part of it till we meet again. Thank you.
For the purposes, Ted was my senior in school. He was a year ahead of me in a very, very good school in Nairobi. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and for the purposes of the church, in case you're wondering, I was actually here giving the same speech as a friend for the previous funeral. I also lost another best friend. So this is the second one. But for me, it's a special day because it gets me to reflect on various things. And I'm going to take us through them shortly. Number one, I attended a funeral of a guy who was a thief. And when the pastor said, watu wote ambao walikuwa wanafanya kazi na yeye wasimame, nobody stood up. So please, those of us who ever worked with Edward in the entertainment industry or in the radio industry, please stand up. I'm sure you can stand up for this one. If you ever worked with him in radio or TV or in the entertainment industry, this is our salute. And to the Kwach family, we thank you for lending us your son for all these years. Everybody here, I want to assure you, has a unique and different experience of who this guy is. Everybody. I was loved too. By the way, this guy kissed me a lot. At the beginning, I was a bit, but I got used to it. And he told me, I love you so many times. Please be seated, the industry. So I don't know why I was actually chosen to thank or to speak about Edward. I'm not sure if it's my good looks or it's my good command of the English language, but I intend to make it 1 minute. But his life needs to be spoken about all through. Edward called me, he called me a couple of months ago, I think last year, and he told me, Ted, I have this thing. Now, I have seen him all through because I worked with him at Kids FM. And he told me, Ted, I think we're at the age where we need to make impact in our generation. What was he talking about? And that people in my age set, who is around his age group, are going through a very, very serious time. And many of us are finding it hard to reinvent ourselves. And mental health is dealing with us accordingly because we no longer hold the stature that we held. And he came up with an idea together with Urban Radio to start something called the Men's Baraza. It was a movement of men to talk, encourage each other, strengthen each other, stand with each other. We did our first session in Kisumu. 300 men showed up. The youngest 16, the oldest 68. And he told me that day, Ted, please, just be raw. And guys, we spoke, and men were freed from the fears, and as my dedication to him, and I speak for Urban Radio, we shall do it again and again and again. We shall stand with the men in this country. We shall walk with the men in this country. To the men in this house, you shall not walk alone. I finish. Psalms 19 speaks about a very important thing. It says, God, teach me to number my days so that I may be full of wisdom. At the end of his life, I can assure you, and it will be said here, is that this brother of ours taught and walked with God. So may God be good to us. Remember, if you run alone, it's a race, but if you run with God, it is grace. And so may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Ghost be with all of us now. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the other side, bro.
Thank you, Balozi, for that tribute. I will need the grace of God now because I'm going to go against something that we had agreed with the ministers of the church. But we have a special guest from Tanzania who worked with Kerry. His name is Sebo Busilwa, who will also just come and quickly give a short tribute for their work together at East Africa Radio.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, church. Niruhusu nimkaribishe Baby Kabai. Baby karibu. And I've been warned that I should speak for only 60 seconds. And there's a big watch over there. And good enough, there's that notion that everything happens for a reason. This morning, I met Richard Kwach for the very first time. And I had heard of him from Edward Kwach on a number of occasions. I didn't know that this Kwach family, even by merely greeting them, they can steal your speech. So he went away with my speech. Whatever Richard said here is what I wanted to say about Edward Kwach. I wanted to talk about leaving footprints on the sands of time. Kwach is a legend. Kwach has left a legacy. I'm a living testament to that. I met Edward Kwach in the year 2003, 24th of December. I was pursuing my first degree, LLB at the University of Dar es Salaam. I'm Ugandan, by the way. So I meet Kwach and he changes my course. This guy invites me to work with him on radio. He hadn't even told me about his story of not completing his degree in South Africa by then. So I joined radio where I meet Baby Kabai and Kwach. And these were big names. Kwach had been poached from Nairobi to come and work in Dar es Salaam. Very few presenters have had the opportunity of being bought to move across borders. There are very few. I know only of Kwach. If there's any other, labda Kisumu tutakutana huku. So, then Kwach tells me that, hey bro, your degree is your job. Your job at East Africa Radio is your responsibility. Do you understand? I'm like, yeah, I think I do. So what did I say? You said my degree is my job and my job is my responsibility. Do you know what that means? I said, yes. What does it mean? I should take my degree serious. No! You have to get your degree. So you will work and you will get your degree. And surely I got my degree, but I continued working on radio. Continued working with Kwach. Then Kwach changed all of a sudden. He was so hard on me, very hard indeed. And I asked him, what's wrong, brother? Have I hurt you in any way? He told me, Dennis, I'm pushing you because I want to go back to Nairobi. I want to live you in Dar es Salaam. I want you to rock in Dar es Salaam. I rock in Nairobi. And he left. But we had become a family with Baby Kabai here and Edward Kwach. I remember him for being courageous, for being a good man. If Kwach ever insulted you, it's because he wanted to cut off your head, but because he was a good man, it ended at an insult. If he ever beat you up, he wanted to bury you alive. But because he was a good man, he only slapped you. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Sebo. And Sebo is his name. It's not the Ugandan title. That is his name. Next will be Edwin Kwambai from Standard Group. Okay, now I'm being corrected. It is Edward who baptized him Sebo, and it became part of his name. The next will be a colleague from Standard Group, the general manager for radio, Edwin Kwambai, who will read a speech from the CEO. Ningemwambia keep it short, but you know, they're broadcasting live and the CEO is watching. So now
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, Monas. The partner, parents, siblings, relatives, and friends of our fallen hero, Carrie Francis Kwach, the clergy who are presiding over this memorial ceremony, the immediate family, which here is Spice FM, who are present in the building, and the extended Standard Group, the media fraternity, former colleagues, fans, fellow mourners. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe tena. I'm standing here with a lot of humility to eulogize a man that I grew when I was a young man to emulate while we were in the media school. It was Kwach's voice that you would want that one day you'll reach that level of professionalism and dedication to the profession that we wanted to be. Here today, I want to read some sentiments from the Chief Executive Editor, Mr. Chacha Mwita, who could not be present here today. And I'll go like this. We gather here today with heavy hearts, united in mourning, yet also in celebration of the exceptional life of Edward Kwach. It's a challenge to articulate a profound sense of loss we feel at Spice FM, at the Standard Group in general, and indeed across the entire of Kenyan media landscape and beyond. I stand before you today not solely on my behalf as the team lead radio department, but also on behalf of the CEE, which I've already introduced, who extends his deepest condolences and shares in our sorrow. For many years, Edward Carey Francis Kwach was a legendary presence on our airwaves. His influence transcended the confines of any single radio station. He graced the studios of East Africa Radio, Capital FM, Kiss FM, Nation FM, Urban Radio, and indeed our very own Spice FM, which together with his colleagues who are present here and who are back at HQ, managed to build the #1 fastest growing English radio station in the country as part of his contributions to our stable. Edward Kwach was not merely a presenter, he was a trailblazer. He possessed a rare talent, an infectious energy, and unwavering passion for radio that shaped the very landscape of broadcasting in Kenya and the region. He had an extraordinary ability to connect with listeners from all walks of life, making them feel seen, heard, and understood. His voice was a trusted companion to countless individuals, a source of comfort, entertainment, and insightful commentary. Though Edward Kwach's time with us has concluded, the impact he made will endure for generations to come. His voice may be silent, but his spirit will continue to resonate within the airwaves he commanded and in the hearts of all who knew and loved him. His legacy will serve as an inspiration to aspiring broadcasters for years to come. We extend our deepest sympathies to Edward Kwach's family and loved ones during this incredibly challenging time. May you find solace in the memories you shared and in the love that surrounds you. Today we mourn, but we also celebrate a life lived with passion, purpose, and profound impact. A life that touched so many and a life that will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach. Your voice will be deeply missed, but your legacy will endure eternally. This message has been signed off by the Chief Executive Editor, the Standard Media Group, PLC. Asanteni sana.
We in the church recognize that Edward is larger than the time we have given. So we apologize to everybody who has not had opportunity to speak. Please take our humble apology. For everybody who has spoken and has spoken on our behalf, can we give them a good round of applause? And now, for this man lying here, can we stand and give him a standing ovation and applause for having lived so well? Come on. Thank you all. Please sit. We will have the 2 readings read.
By this gospel you are saved. You will firmly to the that which you otherwise you have been in training. Verse 8. For what I received, I pass on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins, according to the scriptures, that he was buried, and he was raised on the third day, according to the scriptures. And that he appeared to Cephas and then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still living, though some have fallen asleep. Verse 7. Then he appeared to James and to all the apostles. And last of all, he appeared to me also, the Holy One. For I am the least of the apostles, and do not even deserve to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and His grace to me was not without effect. No, I worked harder as a worker. Yes, I am, but the grace of God that was with me. Whether the message is, I or they, this is what we preach, and this is what we believe.
Sound Candy Talk Live News. At Sound Candy Talk, we help your event, trainings, shows, and so more to the world through internet broadcasting in UHD. We provide from 1 to several camera setups and integrate graphics to live in your live streams. For more information, contact us through +254 718454585 or email at soundcandytalk@gmail.com. Reach on us today. Are you looking for video live streaming services? You want your church services to be on air? You do not know where to market your goods and services? At Sound Candy Talk, we deliver the best live stream services for your events, product and service launches, conferences, weddings, and lives. Reach on us today. Tonight,
the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place so fast. Therefore, everybody must work hard to stay on the cutting edge as far as making sense of our politics is concerned, and of course, remaining on top of all matters.
Tonight,
this is Sound Candy Talk Live. 72 people have cast their vote already, and only 42 have liked the video.
Kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound Candy Talk Live. Sound Candy Talk Live News. We also work on creating documents, feature stories, explainer videos, 3D animation, and anything media related. We also offer consultation on media related topics. Our work is timely, professional, and very affordable. So talk to us, soundcandytalk@gmail.com, or you can call us on 07 18 45 45 80. Tunazunguka kote kote mchana kutwa kukuletea taarifa na matokeo ya habari kutoka pembe zote za ulimwengu. Jioni tunaweka mduara wa kujadili taarifa zizo hizo kwa mapana na marefu. Ungana nasi
you, and I really appreciate for being with you and having moment discussion, having a day with you. Indeed, it's so great as Bernard started over. For more confirmation or for more details of if you want to support the channel, just use the scrolling details on the screen and it will be great. If you also want to advert with us, use the screen details on the screen and we'll market your product very well, and we also market. And if the first time coming across the channel and you have not clicked the subscription note, please make sure you click the subscription note so that we can be together and we can move together as one. And also there's the link to join inside to be a member of Sound Candy Talk. Please, I still urge you, click the link, join and be a member of Sound Candy Talk. For those who are watching us on TikTok, please, I urge you, go to the YouTube channel, search Sound Candy Talk the same way it is on TikTok. Please subscribe and also join, be a member of Sound Candy Talk, and it will be great. We really love you, we really respect you, and I really ask God bless you, because we'll appreciate for you being there as
tunazunguka kote kote mchana kutwa kukuletea taarifa na matokeo ya habari kutoka pembe zote za ulimwengu. Jioni tunaweka mduara wa kujadili taarifa zizo hizo kwa mapana na marefu. Ungana nasi kila siku ya wiki kwenye matukio ya siku saa 2 jioni kwenye Sound Candy Talk. Matukio ya siku, makao makuu ya habari kuu ya siku. At Sound Candy Talk, we help your event, trainings, shows, and so more to the world through internet broadcasting in UHD. We provide from 1 to several camera setups and integrate graphics to live in your live streams. For more information, contact us through +2547 18454585 or email at soundcandytalk@gmail.com. Reach on us today.